Yes, we came back to draw 2-2, but honestly, I'm getting really pig damn sick of giving other teams head starts. It is really starting to get on my nerves now because the last few games, Man City, Bournemouth, and now Liverpool, we've always managed to give teams a head start. How many times are Sunderland players going to keep making these damn mistakes before they eventually realise that you can't do that? You cannot afford to give other teams head starts in the Premier League, especially even more so given Sunderland's position at the moment. Otherwise, we are certain to go down. But I do see this point as more of a positive one because, I mean, although I was at the Newcastle game today, and I'll just quickly mention, Newcastle did actually play really well, dominated West Brom, but West Brom didn't really come to attack and they weren't ambitious in anything they were doing, so deserved win for the Geordies in the end, unfortunately. Because the gap's still the same. That's the one big plus today. We didn't lose, and the gap is still the same. I said before the Man City game, if you're going to get to the West Ham game at least no worse off than what we were prior to going into those three games, then you say it's okay enough. Because then you've got a bunch of winnable fixtures at the end. I'm not saying that West Ham, Everton, etc. and Leicester are easy games, but they're winnable. So, going into we had to get something today, which we did, to be fair. We did show the character to come back from 2-0 down late on to come back and get a draw. How much of that, though, had to do with the walkout that Liverpool fans did in 77 minutes? Which, by the way, I think is justified because you can't just, getting asked to pay, was it 77 quid for a Premier League ticket? Liverpool have barely done anything over the last few years, so what right have the club got to raise the prices? It's the same thing, like you say, if Sunderland raised them, what right have they got to charge us more? We've seen nothing but just staying up. Beating Newcastle's great and all, but we want more than just survival. I figured that they should have known this by this point. Regardless, though, I did see all the goals, and if I'm being honest, I wasn't impressed with either of Liverpool's. I felt the first one we should have worked harder to stop the cross going in, and I think it might have been Van Aanholt, but I think that Firmino had too much room to jump. I don't know why on earth that no one tried to out-jump him for the ball. And then the second one was even worse. Now, admittedly, right, I'll just quickly go. Billy Jones gives the ball away. Firmino goes through. Defensive mistake. Minoni comes out of his goal line for me a little bit too early. And then just passes it to Lallana. Defence all over the place. Tap in. Right. I've got to be honest. I've been in the camp that says that Billy Jones isn't as bad as people say he is. I stand by that statement. I still don't think he's as bad as people say he is. However, if he's going to keep making those same mistakes, then I suppose you could argue we've got nothing to lose by putting Yedlin into the team. Especially if Kabul comes back and you have Kone, O'Shea, Kabul in defence in a 3-5-2 system, and then you have Van Aanholt and Yedlin as wing-backs. That might help us. Let's not forget, 3-5-2 did suit us when we beat Palace and Stoke. So we'll have to wait and see what happens going into Man United next week. But other than that, apparently Kirchhoff, again, I'm judging this purely based on social media. I've only seen the highlights, I've only seen the goals and what people have said on Twitter. I remember how nervous it was because I kept checking through Twitter during the Newcastle game, praying that Liverpool hadn't scored. Just a clean sheet would have done me today. And I remember that Chris Young, who from the Sunderland Echo, he's usually the quickest at reporting everything. And he put 1-0 for me, and I thought, here we go, get lost. 2-0, then that's it, game over. Even when he said 2-1, Johnson free kick, still wasn't convinced we were going to get anything. And then I was frantically searching. The last 2 minutes, I said, please just let it get 2. Please get 2-2. Then I saw 2-2 to 4. I was like, yes, come on. Even at that point, I was still insisting in the last 5 because by the time the Newcastle game finished, stoppage time. By the time stoppage time finished at St James's Park, added time was starting at Anfield. So I kept on frantically going, please don't blow it, please don't blow it, please don't blow it, please don't blow it, please don't blow it. And thankfully we didn't blow it. This could be a season-defining point. It could be a season-defining point. If we are to get out of trouble, we have to. We should use this to our advantage. Next two games, Man United at home, West Ham away. If we can somehow scrape 4 points out of those 2 fixtures, I'll be very happy, as long as the results actually go in our favour. I'm getting rather sick and tired of teams around us winning. And I know you can say, well, you've got to focus on your own team and not look at others, but we've got no choice. Half the time we don't bother to do it ourselves, so we've got to check other people's results. It's simple, we've got to. It's naive of people, in my opinion, to say we can't check other results. And given the fact that the next 2 games are 12:45 kickoffs, that also could work in our... I'm not saying it will, could work in our advantage. If we do it properly, we could win those games, hopefully, and put a lot of pressure on teams around us. Because then who won't have even kicked off yet. We'll have to see, though. Man United at home, I would take a point in that game if Norwich, Newcastle and Villa all lost, because then at least it closes the gap a bit further. After Man United, though, there's no excuses. We've got a good set of fixtures in which we can hopefully get wins. If we keep on going the way we're going, we might just stay up. I'm just praying. Football God, please let Sunderland stay up. Newcastle, Norwich and Villa can go down, and we can also not lose the derby. I know I've said that a few times, but I really want that so badly at this point. Look, guys, I love yous and leave yous. 2-2. I've got to be honest. Maybe before the game, I probably would have took it. At least the points gap isn't any